You know, we should love one another. But how do we do that? Granddaddy Guitar here. In today's story, you're going to find the greatest example of love. Welcome to Story Theater. Welcome and how do you do? Welcome to Story Theater. I have a story for you. Once upon a time, in an old time, a boy made a riddle and a girl made a rhyme. It wasn't my time, wasn't your time. This time, we're in the Bible with Jesus telling us a story about a father and his two sons. One son, the younger son. The story focuses on him. And I'm going to use a little rap today. Can I do some rap for you? Granddaddy Guitar going to try to rap a little bit. Well, the young son said to his daddy, "You got a whole lot of money, I know that. And you said some of it belongs to me. I want my share now." And the father was concerned. "But son, are you sure?" He said, "Yes, I'm sure. I'm ready to get out of here and do my thing." And so the father, loving his son, gave him all of his share. And that son got his share. And off to the city he did fly. He bought him a nice Sky. That's a hat for those who don't know that. He went up into town with his money, and every place he would go, the clubs, wherever the place he would go, he said, "My name is Sonny. I got plenty money. If you want some, better not act funny. I party in the daytime, I party at night. I'm the party kid, and you know that's right." So Sonny, you imagine he got a lot of friends. He was cool with the ladies when he would take them out to dine. He was cool with the fellas when he bought all of the wine. They would party all the time. But before long, all of Sonny's money was gone. And something happened in that land. There was an economic crisis. People couldn't find jobs. People didn't have no money. And Sonny would go up to some of his old friends and say, "You got a quarter for, I just want to give me a little cup of coffee. Come on, man. You know me." And they would look at him and say, "Yeah, we knew you when. Get out of our face, Sonny. Go on about your business. You better get your life together. You look bad, Sonny." And Sonny did look bad. So he went to one of the men in that town and he asked him for a job. And the guy looked at Sonny and said, "You okay?" It was a food place where they made fried chicken. And he looked at Sonny and said, "I tell you what, I don't want you in this store, but every night we're going to put the garbage out the back, and I want you to take that garbage and jump in the trash can and put the trash cans back up against the door. And the next morning you come around, I give you a few dollars." And Sonny took that job. And the first night, he pulled the trash can out, began to dump the trash can, and he saw in that trash can a piece of chicken and a biscuit. Looked like people ain't eating much. Maybe take a bite out of that biscuit, took a bite out of that chicken. And Sonny was so hungry, he started to crunch into that used chicken. And he spit it out, and he realized to himself, he came to himself, he said, "What am I doing out here like this? If I go back home, my father, they got food all in the refrigerator, they got food in the freezer, what am I doing? I'm going to go to my father and tell him I messed up. I spent all my money. And I just need to go back to him. I'll tell him I'll work for him. I'll be one of his servants instead of his son." And Sonny headed back on home. But in the meantime, Sonny's father Oh yeah, while Sonny was gone partying, his father would go out in town and ask people, anybody heard any news about my son? Anybody heard anything about Sonny? And all the people in the town said, Pops, man, you need to let your son go. He went off. I heard he's up somewhere partying and drinking and doing and all kind of things, anything he's big enough to do. But you did your best. You just let him go. Just let him go, man. You ought to forget about Sonny and move on. But the father didn't move on. He would wake up at night and look out the window, heard a little tap somewhere and thought it was his son Sonny coming back. Then one day he looked out, early one morning. He looked out and he saw this scraggly looking figure coming up his driveway. And the father grabbed his little robe, ran out the door, and there was Sonny standing in the driveway. And his father grabbed him and put his arms all around him and kissed him on his cheek. And Sonny was all prepared for the little speech. He said, Dad, I'm sorry I messed up. His father said, you were lost. Now you are found. You were blind. Now you see. I want you to come in the house. We're going to get you cleaned up and get you some clothes. My son who was gone is now home. Welcome home, Sonny. Welcome home. This story has a lesson. This is the kind of love God the Father has for all of us. We're all like Sonny. If someone you know has gone astray, pray that they will make their way home, back to God again. Now it's time for a word of prayer, because we serve a God who really cares. In my life, Lord, be glorified, be glorified. In my life, Lord, be glorified today. When I pray, Lord, be glorified, be glorified. When I pray, Lord, be glorified today. Now you go get yourself some rest. And in the morning, let the sun, the S-O-N, shine. Granddaddy Guitar. See you next time.